Oh, let's see. All right, graphing now. The point x comma y is a solution to a linear equation if you plug in both x and y and solve it. In addition, we will make a table of values and graph the points in order to form a line. Determine if the point 5, negative 2 is a solution to the equation 3x minus y equals 17. Don't go crazy with trying to solve for y or solve for x. Plug it in. Here's my x, here's my y. Plug in values. Always use parentheses too. So 3 times 5 minus parentheses negative 2 equals 17. The reason why I say use parentheses is because if you didn't, you might drop that minus out. Because notice how if you think back to like a few chapters ago, we have to imagine that that's like a minus 1. So a negative times a negative will be positive. Next line, 15 plus 2 equals 17. Okay, next line. 15 plus 2, combine like terms. Oh my god, the yellow. It's perfect. So I get 17 is equal to 17. Is that true or false? It's true. It works. And that means that 5 comma negative 2 is a solution. So that's good. I think on the test or problems, you're just going to say yes or no. Questions before we do the table of values? Graph the line by making a table of values. All right, so I'll go right ahead and do this first one. I have all those x values there. They are given to me. So if I take negative 6 and I plug that in for x, I will get 4y minus negative 6 equals 20. So from there I have to write 4y plus 6 equals 20. And then I do minus 6, minus 6. Four y equals 14. Divide by 4. And I do get a fraction, so I should have made it a little bit easier. But 14 divided by 4. I'll leave it as a fraction. I'll write 7 halves. Do the whole thing over again, except plug negative 4 in for x. So now I'll be here. And I'll write 4y minus negative 4 equals 20. Four y plus 4 equals 20. Subtract 4 from both sides. I get 4y equals 16. Okay, divide by 4. And I get y is equal to 4. So that's a little bit nicer. They give you these problems and you have to do 4 numbers, so you're just going to do it again. But maybe they give you a nice one like 0. So now I'll write 4y minus 0 equals 20. Well, the 0 is just basically going to drop out, so it becomes 4y equals 20. Divide by 4, and I get y equals 5. And then one more. Take 4 and plug it in for x. So 4y minus 4 equals 20. Add 4 to both sides. Then divide. Y is equal to 6. You only need to plot 2 points to make the line. Well, like one of them I really don't like right off the bat. But I could just pick 2 of the other ones. So like 0, 5 is pretty easy. So I'll plot the point 0, 5. And then I'll plot the point, say, 4, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. Finished. On the computer, you'll have a little tool that can get you to pick dots. And you click and drag, or put the cursor on 0, 5, press click, and then press click, it'll draw the line automatically for you. But like also, I'll just say one more thing. Every point, this is how you know if you made a mistake. Every point in that table should be on that line. So if I graph negative 6, 7 halves, that's left 6 and up 3.5. So it's kind of like right there. And then the other point is negative 4, 4. So I'm a pretty bad artist. See how they're all on the same line? That's how you know you're doing a good job. Questions or comments again?
I have a question.
Question.
So if we plug it in and we're like, bam, 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 you can't put it in a decimal on here, right? You can, but it won't let me in the computer.
It won't let you put a decimal into the table?
Right, like so, can I give you maybe the numbers to
Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
Because I just don't want to get stuck on the test with something like this. So it's 3x minus 5y equals 15. And then the 1 would be negative 5 for y. So if you plug that in, you get 25. Cross over, and you have 3x equals 10.
You get negative 5 for y, right?
Yeah, this is the only one that gave me a decimal. Everything else was all whole numbers.
Plus 25 equals 15. Yep. So I get 3x equals, I don't get a decimal. Oh, I do.
Right. Yeah, that's what, and then it wanted me to leave it like that.
Yeah, so leave your answer as a fraction. You know why? Because that's a decimal.
Oh, okay, cool.
That would be negative 3.333, and it would go on forever.
Sweet, all right.
So just leave it as negative 10 thirds.
Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. So good question. Work with fractions. Don't work with decimals. Should I do this one or no?
Are we going to see that? Yeah. Hell yeah.
I don't. You won't get any fractions in this one. No.
I mean, are we going to see a question like that?
Yeah. Yeah. You'll have x's and y's. All right. So now we have to. Okay. So first one would be here, right? Plug it in for x. Let's try and find some space. All right, now I have to do 1/2 times negative 2, which is the same as negative 2 over 2. I'm kind of doing some math in my head. That thing will become negative 1 minus 2y equals 12. I have to add 1 to both sides. Okay, I will get a fraction here, which is good. Divide by negative 2. So y is going to be equal to negative 13 halves. If you wanted me to leave it up there or anything, or leave it big, just let me know. Okay, for the negative 5, that's under the y. Now I'm going to plug it in for the y, and I'm going to write positive 1/2 x minus 2 parentheses negative 5 equals 12. So now I'll do negative 2 times negative 5, 1/2 x plus 10 equals 12. And then minus 10 from both sides. One half x equals 2. In order to solve this one, think of it as like x divided by 2. So do the opposite of division and multiply by 2. Yeah. On both sides. So we're trying to work in the fractions, you know. Oh, yeah. Yeah, you would. let's say I do that. Divide by 1/2, which is the same as 0.5, right? Those cancel. And dividing by a fraction is the same as multiplying by the reciprocal. So you flip it to 2 times 2. Yeah. Doesn't matter which way you think about it. Yep. Next one. Okay, now I got to take 2 and plug it in for x. 1/2 times 2 minus 2y equals 12. 1/2 times 2 is 1. Minus 1 from both sides. So now I get negative 2y equals 11. Divide by negative 2. Leave it as a fraction. Y equals negative 11/2. Okay, lastly, take the negative 4, plug it in for y. 1/2 x minus 2 times negative 4 equals 12. Negative 2 times negative 4 will be positive 8. Subtract 8 from both sides. Sorry about running out of room. 1/2 x equals 4. Do that same thing, right? Well, maybe I'll write it this way now. Divide by 1/2 on both sides. 1/2 over 1/2 cancels. So if you think about it, it's 4 divided by 1/2. Dividing, it's like keep, change, flip. Dividing by a fraction is the same as multiplying by the reciprocal, so it's really 4 times 2 over 1, which is just 4 times 2, which is 8. All right, so 4 negative 5 is going to be right 4, up 5. I really hope I did it right. They should all be in a line. Negative 2 is left 2, and then 13/2 is like 6.5. So I didn't pick the best example, but it actually goes kind of like just off of. So negative 2 down 6.5, it's like down there. 2, 11/2 is positive 2 down 5. Oh, I know what I did. 2 negative 5.5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right there. I made a mistake, you see? So you see how that points off? Like 4 negative 5, I should have gone right 4, but down. And then 8 negative 4 is off the graph. I picked a bad example, but that's kind of your line right there. It's the whole thing. Any questions on that?